Hello everyone, my name is RagingRaptor and I welcome you to a new World of Tanks preview video. And today Wargaming is once again being the good guys out there, giving us more SuperTest stuff, this time going on about the new maps, or rather 2 map changes, or rather 3 map changes on 2 different maps, one of which being Empire's Border. And this map, it got an insane facelift, in my personal opinion. We can just have a quick look at the map changes themselves. It is insane how much open the map suddenly became, with basically this spot up here getting completely flattened and this spot down here getting completely flattened. As you can see right here. We're obviously once again going to have a look at each and every single one of those positions in the before and after. So now let's just jump right in with number 1. Now this is how we all loved it, or hated it most likely, because nobody really liked Chinese Border. And excuse me, it's Empire's Border, not Chinese Border. And this is how it now looks. You can see that Wargaming tried to kind of keep the things we previously had, but they were all flattened down immensely. Like, this looks a lot more different, and it allows you to be a lot more active, in my personal opinion. But already the first thing I do want to point out is I kind of have the feeling that this opening up may or may not be the best thing for this map. So why exactly do I think this? Obviously, bigger maps or more open maps is always, or most of the time, better. Especially in a map like Chinese or Empire's Border, where you simply have 3 corridors. However, here I just feel like you suddenly have more camping. Why exactly? Because everything is so open, it will be hard for people to get into positions without getting pummeled to death by either artillery or light tanks or medium tanks or enemy tanks in general. So I'm not entirely sure how this will really pan out. I really do have kind of a little bit some fear that this workabout will not be that good, because now, let's be honest, the middle position we can see right here will become incredibly strong as you have a much more open field you can shoot at. Now, talking about other open fields or open positions, this is the usual TD camping position on the northern spawn, and you know this is the rock. You put somebody behind here and you make some pew-pew shots up there. And Wargaming decided to completely revamp that with changing the placement of this wall piece and making this a more convenient to use spot for the TDs. However, with the movement going from left to the right, it may or may not be harder for the people to actively try to shoot up here. But again, obviously Wargaming changed this completely, so who am I to judge if this is really going to work or not? It is obviously a much more convenient to use position, because especially this position right here will allow you to go 50 meters behind and use double bush, or rather like the usual 50-meter rule, where meanwhile here was barely, no, it wasn't possible because of this rock and how it was placed against the wall. So this position may or may not be quite strong for your usual TD shenanigans. Now looking at position 3, you can see that usually like the other position was right around down here, and you were able, or right around over here, and you were able to shoot over this hill to shoot the people up here which were pushing in. And well, you can see that this was once again completely revamped. As you can see, this rock is no more, and you can see that this is just completely opened up. This is completely open, and here we suddenly have a new, smaller installment of the Chinese Border. It will be very interesting to see. At number 4, you can see this is how it used to be, and suddenly it got opened up. The rock was moved in the middle. This rock was usually a very, very good position. So was this spot right here. This little bush right here was able, or gave you the opportunity to go like this, go in here, place your butt in here and try to spot what is coming up here if you were, for example, an EBR. So obviously, if the enemy also had scouts which went like this, you had to run away quickly and try to get into cover, but you had this spot as cover and you had this spot as cover. Now this spot is still standing, but you can see that this got opened up immensely. Also, the houses right here were removed, and also here we got some more spots to use. However, it looks more rigid. So if you fall down here, you're done. So like you can see that this is a shallow fall. But meanwhile, here is like a huge rock fall, and you will most likely just die if you fall down there. However, I actually do kind of think that this opening up isn't too bad. However, now if we go to the minimap, it really depends from where over here you can easily shoot in here, because otherwise it will be a huge flanking position. It already is kind of a flanking position that you are able to shoot at people which are over here from over there. However, you have to drive quite far down from this hill, which is basically down here, which you can't see, to shoot at people which are over here. Usually you always want to go like this and like this if you want this flank down here to help your allies to win this flank or this flank respectively for the other team. This also looks, oops, this was the wrong key. This also looks a lot more, how should I say, flatter, you know? So maybe hold down tanks will not be as strong anymore on this part of the map than they are right now. Now, going to number 5, you will see again the huge changes which happened right here. Obviously, this angle is not that good to show us elevation changes because, again, Empire's Border is very much a map which is made for hull-down vehicles. So, for example, right here, you have this little spot right here where you usually can stay hull down. And when you're especially driving up here, you basically just get pummeled to death by people going from here or going from here. So usually this side has the better upper hand over here. That's something I especially learned while free marking the Super Conqueror. Now this is not the case anymore. You now have to be incredible fast to get in some position right here. Otherwise you get flanked from over here. At least that is how it looks. This position in general here does look like it is more suited for side-scraping vehicles rather than hull-down vehicles. But again, the angle of attack of the camera, it makes it very, very hard to judge. But again, the biggest change is obviously this new little castle part, this little wall part in the middle, as well as the removal of this whole mountain section. So now, let's move on where usually the mountain was. This is how it used to look, and this is an amazing shot because this shows us how much playable area was basically missing. This is not playable, and obviously this part right here isn't playable. And now if you go over, like, that is an insane amount of change, you know? And maybe you now understand why I'm a little bit careful on saying what if this may or may not be a little bit too much open space. First things first, those changes will hugely impact artillery, and for 4 out of 5 classes, those changes are abysmal because artillery will have it much easier to shoot at everybody. And I know I am biased, I really don't like artillery, but those changes, they make it a lot easier for artillery to do damage and stun, you know? It will be very hard, it is still very hard to judge how much this elevation will help you. It looks more interesting to me personally because you have still this corridor where you have to go down here to be most effective, but maybe some people try to play over here or over here. You can see that there's still this mold or mound of or bulge really, which is still up here, which can help you give some hull down cover, and it kind of looks like you will have to be more keen and have a lot more open eyes to see what is the enemy doing, because you can shoot at everybody basically, but you can also get shot at by everybody. But again, this huge change, obviously, it means that, for example, right here, you always were artillery safe. Even up here, we were most likely artillery safe. But now, literally, everything is so open that artillery has no issues shooting at you whatsoever. And the same goes for the other side. So I don't really know. I really don't know how it is going to affect. Maybe, like, I don't really think that this map will become, or this iteration of the map will become more campy. But it might actually be because, you know, many people do not want to get shot on by somebody in a top-down position. However, Wargaming also decided to change this number 7 position, which is right here. You can see it, that they added, make it a little bit more convenient for the TDs. Right here, it is much more easier to use this position. You have bushes here, you have bushes here. You can use those bushes for 50-meter rule, while meanwhile here it was just very, very open and you could only hide in this narrow little corner. Well, that is China's Empire's Border for you. Some very, very drastic changes. Obviously, I do not really like Chinese Empire's Border. I don't know. I know it's a Chinese wall, but yeah, Empire's Border, it is the name. I really do not like the map in general. It's just simply not my playstyle. It's very corridor heavy. We have literally just 3 or 4 corridors. I do want to play this iteration. 100% I want to try this iteration out. But again, I am slightly concerned that this may or may not be a little bit too open. But again, this is very hard to judge from aerial photos without being on the ground and being able to drive around and see for ourselves. Nevertheless, I still think, hey, it's a map many people dislike a lot, so let's go for it, Wargaming. Let's go for it and we'll see what we can do. Now, we have more Ruinberg changes. Like, oh my goodness, another iteration. And I kind of want to have to take away the spoiler, but there are 2 separate Ruinberg iterations. One of which being this one right here, where they did some, or this was the first iteration right here. Then we got this iteration, and now Wargaming made those changes right here. They did remove this spot at 8.1 and 8.2, with the saying that they simply didn't really change the gameplay that much. So they changed the positions right here with number 8, number 10, and number 9. This is the first iteration. The second one will be making Ruinberg bigger. And we're going to have a look at after those changes right here in the version 1.0. Now, number 8, this is how it uses to look right now. You know, you can just drive in here, you have this position right here, you have this position right here, and you have this position right here. So this position right here is incredibly strong for hold down tanks like a 430U, T54, or even an LT432, because it allows you to use this bushes right here, or this, there's some positions right here and here to spot what the people are doing down there. Meaning that people which are, for example, in the city down below, like in this street right here or on this corner right here, they were just able to make some pew-pew shots up there and demolish anybody which dared to stand over here. And this is the same thing for people which are going like this, going into this position right here and staying just to try to proxy spot them. And now you can see that this is not the case anymore. They completely removed this position right here, but they added this one right here, but it is much more open. So it will be much easier for the people over here and over here to shoot at them. Now the more bigger changes, and something which is also for fairness sake, is the position changes on number 9. Wargaming simply added one more building here and this building right here. This building right here not only gives you side cover from this position, but it also gives you some hiding when you want not to get shot at from the people over here. Like, this building is insane. Plus, you can see right here, there are some bushes. Like, this position is so strong. Like, those are some huge changes in my personal opinion. Obviously, Wargaming still kept this little mound right here, but they did also, as far as I know, make it smaller. But I don't know, like, this building may or may not make all the difference for the upper part. Sure, this team can still go like this, but this building right here makes it so much more convenient to play against people which are rushing in here or rushing in here. And on number 10, Wargaming made a smaller change, being this little position right here. I don't really know, like, I do kind of feel like where this position wants to be. It should be, in theory, a correct or a real counter to the people going like right in here. Like, this is a complete counter to those positions right here. Because you can stay here relatively safe and just shoot at them while they are crossing. This may or may not also be a very good position for advanced or even clan war stuff, so maybe not. However, it is too open for the normal gameplay mode to really be used, I think. And obviously it is very open, and you can see that there are already artillery strikes right here. But again, those are the normal changes. Now let's have a look at Enlarged Ruinberg, and this is what right now is the first idea of Wargaming for Ruinberg. And that is the second idea. You can see that Wargaming decided to add some more size almost everywhere. For example, this will be a little bit more playable space. And most importantly, it's this position down here which changed. Wargaming did, however, remove the mount on number 10, which we had previously here in this new iteration. If you go back again, you can see that this position right now is changed as well. They also did some minor changes over here. Hard to judge really, but yeah. Let's look at number 9 again, but there is no big difference. It's literally the same thing as before with the non-enlarged version. So let's skip over to number 10, which is the much bigger changes. This is how it looks right now. And that's the change. Like, this is a big change, you know? This is a really big change because it allows you to most likely get unspotted up here when somebody, for example, is just YOLOing like this and spotting you over here. And this obviously means you lose a lot less HP. And look at those positions right here. This one and this one. Those positions are humongous for clan wars and also for defensive play in general. Like, those positions, they can be so strong when people, for example, want this upper position. You don't, like, usually you just have to camp over here and hope for the best. But now you have this as cover, you have this as cover, you have this as cover, you have this bush, this bush. Like, those are insane changes, in my personal opinion, to Ruinberg. So at the moment, I'm right now at the loss of words. I don't really know which position really will be better, in my opinion. Like, what will be better and what really will prevail. I like both changes and I will look forward to try 8 of them on Ruinberg. Let me know in the comment section below, however, what you think about the Ruinberg changes, and if you managed to come this far into the video, hey, maybe consider to subscribe to my channel to be always up to date with the latest World of Tanks news and information. And with that out of the way, I want to finish off today's video with a thank you at you, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any feedback to me, let me know in the comment section below. I am always open for feedback. Maybe I will be able to redo it in like maybe 3 weeks when my finals are over. But yeah, that is the map changes we all are now having. Again, I am a little bit concerned about Empire's border because it's special. It's very, very special. It looks interesting, but it might be a little bit too special. We'll see. Again, Wargaming should just give it to the players to try, not just SuperTest. That's my personal opinion on stuff. And now, again, let me know in the comment section below what you think. Thank you so much for watching. My name is RagingRaptor. Have a great day and good luck on the battlefield. Cheers, guys.